I'm a pretty big fan of Mohu's products. Their leaf antenna here revolutionized the over-the-air antenna industry, and generally speaking, their stuff is well made. They've got a great attitude. So when they announced that they were going to create a device that tied together over-the-air TV with internet apps and the web, I was pretty excited. Well, that device is now here. It launches on the 9th of March. It's called Mohu Channels, and we're here to check it out. This is what you get in the box along with an HDMI cable and a power adapter. This is the main event, the Channels device. You plug your antenna in here at the coax connection, and then down along the bottom we've got an HDMI port to connect to your TV, an Ethernet port for internet. You can also use Wi-Fi with this if you want to. We've got a USB port, we'll talk about that later, and then here's how you power up the device. Now, the other major portion of this is the remote. This is kind of a big part of the deal because this is all you've got to control things. And you'll notice it doesn't look like a conventional remote. Obviously, we've got a QWERTY keypad going on here. On the right is your volume up and down and mute switch. On the left, we've got channel up and down along with a select option. This is like having OK or Enter key, and then your actual Enter key here for the QWERTY keypad. There's also some navigational controls here so you can go up, down, left, and right on the on-screen interface. Once you've connected the channels to your TV, you're going to want to run a channel scan so that it can log all of the different stations in your area. This is going to use the channels tuner instead of your TV's tuner. Once your channels are logged, you can then start adding apps. Now, Channels leverages the power of the Google Play Store. It's basically an Android device. So if it's available at the Google Play Store, theoretically, you should be able to add it. As you add apps, it's going to appear right alongside your other channels. So I've got my list of different over-the-air stations here. Then we've got Netflix, Hulu Plus, and HBO Go. And part of the coolest thing about Channels is that you can organize these in any order that you like. There's a bunch of TV stations here that I can get rid of. Maybe I watch Netflix the most, so I'll put that on top, followed by NBC or Hulu Plus. I mentioned that USB port earlier. Here's what it's for. For one thing, you can pause live television, back it up, go forward. This is not a DVR though, so you can't program it to record something. Best you can do is tune into a show you plan on watching, let it go for a little while on pause, then you can fast forward through the commercials as you watch. Aside from that, you can also store apps on your external USB drive, or you can play back media from that USB slot. Now, so far, things are looking pretty cool. I've got all my channels lined up with my streaming apps, and I can even access the web if I want to. And it acts like Netflix is a channel. If I press channel down while I'm in Netflix, I'll move on to the next channel, which for me would be Hulu Plus. But there are a ton of problems here. For one, this remote. Sure, it's got a QWERTY keyboard and that's nice, but this doesn't operate like any remote you're used to. It's supposed to be kind of like a Wii experience, but it's really hard to control. It's hard to keep things accurate. And when you've got tiny little dots on the screen, it makes it really hard to open things up. Also, this device is a little bit slow. This loading screen I'm constantly having to deal with just really puts a hamper on the experience. I end up waiting on Channels a lot. Another big problem is that the Channels is running these Android apps that are optimized for faster devices like the Amazon Fire TV and the Roku. It just can't keep up, so you end up with a fairly clunky experience. So here's the deal. The Channels is a $150 device. That's $50 more than a Roku or an Amazon Fire TV. And sure, it does operate differently, but the proposition is that you basically don't have to pick up your TV remote and hit the input button. And I'm not so sure that this is compelling enough for me to want to spend that kind of money just to have all my stuff on one screen, one input. I think the idea is solid, but unfortunately the execution is not there yet. For now, I just can't recommend it, but I like the idea and I hope that this gets better in the future.